Welcome to Limited Time Only.
I'm Esther.
And I'm Susie.
Limited Time Only is the podcast for anyone who feels there aren't enough hours in their life.
And each week there's a different topic for you to get your ears around.
Featuring chat, comedy sketches and interviews with interesting people.
Limited Time Only is a pick-me-up in podcast form.
The special guest later in the episode is Lucy Speed. This week it's time for Soap and Glory. Get out of my pub.
Susie,
Esther.
if I said to you, "You ain't my mother," what would your response be?
Yes, I am. And then a camera would definitely sort of pan up into the sky.
Yes. That
was iconic.
Do you know what? As we said that, and you talked about the camera panning up, I got goosebumps. I remember those sorts of episodes of EastEnders that were two-handers. I remember there was one with Dot Cotton.
Oh, yeah.
Was it about losing a baby or aborting a baby or something? I can't remember. That might not have been it at all. But you'd sometimes get these two-hander episodes, and they were such stunning pieces of work, weren't they?
Yeah.
And that whole episode and that whole storyline with Kat Slater and I remember the fact that she used to, years before Shane Ritchie came in, she used to talk about the man in the moon. The man in the moon would save her after she'd been sexually abused, and then they brought in Alfie Moon, and the fact that they'd thought about it that far in advance.
Yeah.
I think that was genius, absolute genius.
That was I'm going to be honest, I do not watch any soaps, but
me neither.
Previously I did quite obsessively watch EastEnders. I mean, I think this is all a symptom of the fact that TV is completely bonkers now, and the streaming platforms, it's just a whole other kettle of fish. And I'm sure we will talk to Lucy Speed about this, because of course she was in EastEnders at the time we're kind of talking about, really.
Yes.
Very different time when it was absolutely, what's the word?
It was like its heyday, wasn't it? It was its peak. It was in its prime.
Appointment television.
Oh, yes.
That was what you watched every Monday. Was it Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Was it?
No, it was not definitely on a Thursday.
Oh, was it Tuesday?
It was Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Coronation
Street
was Monday, Wednesday, with the other days. And I mean, through the 80s and 90s, we stopped watching. I know exactly when we stopped watching EastEnders. It was 2003. It was Kat and Alfie got married. They left the pub in the snow, and then for some reason we stopped watching
because that was the storyline that gripped you.
Yes, it was. But I'd watched it since the very first episode when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
In 1985, I remember being quite shocked by the fact that there were these three men barging through a door and finding a dead body was the opening scene, and this was sort of 7:30 on a Tuesday night. I remember it vividly, and I remember thinking it was quite a shocking thing to see, but of course I was only 7. But yeah, Coronation Street and EastEnders were just appointment television every night.
Yeah, massive and amazing characters. And I mean, I know that some of those characters are still in both those shows. What's it, the Mitchell brothers? Is Phil Mitchell still in it? I mean, I see adverts for it every so often. It was Grant Mitchell, wasn't it, where the camera panned up in the rain? I can't remember what it was.
Was it Tiffany dying, maybe?
Oh my God.
I mean, that was...
How did she die?
She got run over by Frank.
Who's Frank?
Frank Butcher. Mike Reed.
Frank Butcher and Pat Butcher.
Yeah,
her
Frank
earrings.
And Pat Butcher.
Oh my God.
And her earrings. And then Frank Butcher turning up at Pat's house with his bow tie spinning around, because he was married to Peggy, wasn't he? But he was having it off with Pat. Him and Pat, they were meant to be together.
So
they were a toxic couple.
They were. It was wrong but right.
Wrong but right.
There's many things in life are wrong but right.
Yes.
All right but wrong. Yeah. So those characters, Pat Butcher and Dot Cotton and Peggy Mitchell. I mean, who? Oh, and Den and Angie. They were in it from the start, weren't they? They were the first.
Yes, they were.
Sort of power couple.
Yeah.
In British soap, I suppose. Well, British television soap. We can talk about The Archers separately because
we can. Of course, that is a soap.
British institution. with amazing, strong characters as well. But yeah, I think, well, today we're obviously going to be talking to Lucy Speed. So that the idea of strong female characters is something that's so prevalent, or at least was.
Yeah.
And proper characters as well. I think for character actors in the 80s and 90s and noughties, probably, being in a soap would be an absolute gift.
Well, I know when I first got my agent, I mean, soap work was almost like, God, if you could be in EastEnders, that was huge. I mean,
well, you'd be made.
And,
look at Martine McCutcheon. I mean, think about that.
She was one. Yeah, she was one of. I did. Well, you've done Corrie, haven't you? And
Corrie
I've done EastEnders.
Once. I've done Emmerdale thrice. No, twice. I've done it twice. And I've never done EastEnders.
So I've just done EastEnders, and we both did Doctors.
I've done Doctors 4 times.
Oh, I've done Doctors twice, and I was very nearly the receptionist
tick boxes.
when we I remember doing the bill for the first time, and then somebody saying to me, "Oh, you're a bill virgin," and they were really shocked. You're a bill virgin. Everybody's done the bill 15
times, love.
God, darling. But to be in EastEnders in the 90s, and when I filmed EastEnders, it was when Martine McCutcheon was in it, and it was such a nice atmosphere, and there were pictures on the wall of her, and it was just a time. But she was such a wonderful character, and I tell you who was similar but not quite the same. Raquel in Coronation Street.
Oh yeah,
the tarts with the hearts. That was. I mean, you wouldn't say that now, would you? A tart with a heart.
Bet
Gilroy,
Rita
Lynch.
Fairclough, Bet Lynch. That's what I was thinking. Rita Fairclough. Yeah, Peggy Mitchell, Tiffany Mitchell. I can't remember.
Mitchell, yeah.
Sharon.
Her maiden name was Sharon. Still there.
Still massive hair. You have to have to be a fantastic soap female character. You have to have massive hair.
Yes, and the bigger the hair. Well, the thing is,
the bigger the hair, the bigger the tits. I mean, my hair's so
flat.
Fine.
Mine's quite big today.
I've got flat hair, flat chest. I am not going to be the landlady of the Rover's Return.
You could be Dot Cotton. Oh, Nick. Oh, you could be the laundry. Oh, Nick.
Is that Dot Cotton or that man from Carry On?
They're interchangeable.
Who's that one? What's his name?
Charles Hawtrey.
No, not him. That's
Kenneth
me.
Williams.
Kenneth Williams.
I'm
Dot Cotton.
And a little bit sort of a 1930s American, like Mae West. Oh
my God, you've done
what are you doing?
Dot Cotton. Kenneth Williams and a 1920s flapper.
You can be Mae West. What are you wearing? I used to be Snow White, but
and I don't have a cigarette. I just go in sort of pointing my fingers in a gun shape close to my mouth.
Like a cat.
Guys, the casting directors, if you're watching on YouTube, you've just found your next double act there.
Yeah. You can take the laundrette and I'll take the bar.
I'll take the laundrette.
You'll take the laundrette and I'll take the
I'm your mother.
No, you wait.
I sure am, little missy.
You pour me another little whiskey. Whiskey, I want whiskey. With a making on the rocks. Oh, pass me a soprano cigarette.
Now, get out of my pub. I'm crying. Oh, God. These are characters we need to do.
Absolutely. Maybe that's what this week's sketch. Yeah, this week's sketch. Oh, but the thing is, what I loved about those characters, I mean, I know we talked about it in our very first episode, was these matriarchal female characters, well, obviously female, matriarchal characters that were so sort of, I don't think we see them as much now. Where they've got the big hair, they put the lipstick on, they put their face on, and they go out there.
Well, I did see a brief interview with Tony Warren, who created Coronation Street, and it was a conscious choice for him to have these fantastic, strong female characters, and I think he changed the way of female characters on television, really. Who I'm thinking of Ina, because there's Ina Sharple.
Ina
They're
Sharples.
really going really back.
Elsie Tanner.
Yeah, I mean, straight off the bat, there were these do not mess with me.
Yeah. It's terrifying women.
And working class as well. Working class women who, I mean, I'm sure that there's some basis in reality for those characters that he initiated. And I mean, that's my experience of women. Like the women I look up to in my life, I'm like, I wouldn't mess with my mum. Gee,
oh really?
Do not cross my not absolutely with the kids, family, but
she's
in
lovely.
a public sphere.
Yes,
because she now works in Oxfam Bookshop as a volunteer. You don't mess with her. Don't piss her about. Being rude.
Do you know
Don't be rude to my mother.
No,
she will
and do you know
not
what?
stand it. Yeah.
And I can imagine that. And also, I think, well, I know my mum, Christ, I wouldn't cross my mum. Warm, loving, don't you dare cross her. Oh my God. And that was in the 80s. And then I was in the coffee shop recently with a friend, and no one really acknowledged me. And and they took forever. And I just felt this sort of, whereas years ago you might have held back, as you get older, you do sort of step into, this is quite rude actually.
You're being rude to me. Do you not know who I think I am?
Oh my God, I'm going to be the future barmaid of the landlady of the
Yes. If you did go into a coffee shop wearing a massive leopard print coat, huge bouffant hair, bright red lips, cigarette, unlit, obviously, and a big handbag that you could use to whack a mugger. Whack a mugger. The new game show from ITV, and you would probably be drawn to them. That's why I think, I mean, there's an eccentricity about them all, but also a real groundedness, isn't there? They are absolutely where they are. There is no flightiness. They are solid characters. I mean, the characteristics just run through it. It must have been so fun to play all those women. But also they know what they want, they know what they think, and they are not taking any crap.
From the Soap Yourself Iconic Laboratories comes a brand new soap, fragranced with the iconic Eau de Vic. A soap that won't just wash your dirty bits, it'll wash your entire personality. If you smell like an icon, you'll be an icon. In one wash, you'll switch up your style from blousy to brassy, from tortoiseshell and studs to leopard print and earrings the size of your own head. Turn up your main character energy, and the ones who can't keep up can sling their rooks. Try the new soap with Eau de Vic now. You deserve to smell of a beer soap bar mat with hints of Marlborough Light and a top note of pork scratchings. To be an icon, smell like an icon with Soap Yourself Iconic Eau de Vic edition. You cow.
I do think that nowadays we've kind of lost that. We're not so self-assured because we're sort of so bombarded with noise from every direction. I mean, this morning I went for a blood test, and I was quite a way away because it was the only place I could get in for about 10 days. And I was listening to this podcast, and it was a great podcast, but it was this monk talking about how you need to go back and revisit who you were and then get rid of that bit. And I thought, this is fascinating. And then I thought, oh, but then am I not supposed to do it that way? Because I've also heard that. And then I thought, this is the thing. We're so bombarded with information. We sort of watch ourselves and make sure we don't do anything incorrectly. Oh, no, I
don't want to overpower people.
No, and we're sort of so, whereas those women were just like, hey, lady.
Hey, lady.
You pissed me off.
But I think there's something about what their jobs they do as well. Because if you think about the landladies of pubs, I mean, you cannot be a pushover as a landlady of a pub, especially in the East End of London. Or, Dot Cotton is the laundrette. It's all public-facing roles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I did have a brief look at a sort of article, because it was talking about... I just wanted to see who the strong characters... So Deirdre Barlow as well.
Yes. I met her. She was lovely.
She wasn't. She was different.
She was different. In my head, she wasn't. She's sort of... I don't think of her as a strong character. I think of Blanche, her mother, as the strong character, because she was sort of a bit downtrodden by her.
She was, but she had... But certainly a strong, you can instantly see her. And
Yes.
she's just a fantastic character. We've talked about Janine Butcher as well as the other one. And
then to me, she's a brilliant character,
but not
she's
strong.
Vulnerable. I think the thing about the strong characters is Bec Lynch, Bec Gilroy, Peggy Mitchell, Pat Butcher. They were these strong women that fronted outwards,
Yes.
but you saw their vulnerability. Whereas Janine bumps people off and kills people. Those women wouldn't have done that.
I don't remember her doing that, but
oh yeah, Janine killed Barry, and she killed a few people. She pushed him off a cliff, and I think she killed a few people.
But she wasn't nice. She was never. She wasn't like you would happily go. You would go to Bec Lynch and go, Bet, I've got this real problem. Can you help me sort it out?
And she'd have your back.
Yeah.
She would, she'd do something, she'd die for you. Well, she wouldn't die for you, but she'd put that leopard print on.
That is going in far, isn't it, Esther? Do you think you'd have that sort of real connection with her straight away?
No, maybe not. No, maybe not. But like Rita Fairclough as well, they're strong, moral women.
She works in the newsagent, front facing.
Newsagents. You could see the vulnerability of them, because I remember Bet nearly dying in a fire, and Kevin had to save her. Peggy Mitchell had breast cancer, and that was really, I remember there was a scene that was so, oh God. And I remember feeling it when I'd had a cesarean, but there was this, when she took, where she'd had one of her breasts removed, and she opened and she looked at herself and she cried, and then she put her makeup on and she went back downstairs and she faced the bar, and I thought, wow, that is, and I remember when I had a cesarean section feeling, God, this is so ridiculous, but this must be what Peggy Mitchell felt like, because I was scared to look at my stomach because I didn't know what I would see, and I thought, oh God, it's all going to be sort of butchered down there, and obviously now it's just a line on my stomach. But and then Rita Fairclough was with a guy who tried to kill her. You saw these vulnerable sides.
Yes,
of
they
them.
were hidden, but they were hidden away. Do you think there's more? Do you think it's because there's more of a push to be open with your vulnerability now?
Yes. God, this has gone deeper than I thought. You're right.
Well, I just wonder, because we're encouraged to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And actually, is it not as celebrated as much for women to just put on the war paint and get back outside? But actually, it's in real life, you do have to do that.
Yeah, you do.
And there are scales of this, aren't there? I mean, obviously, if you've just had a mastectomy, that's quite serious, and take some time out and talk to them. But the idea of therapy and that sort of thing probably, it wasn't at all prevalent in the 80s and 90s. I don't think.
No,
and
not in the slightest.
Sort of really I think talking to close friends is something that's always been celebrated in soap. But I don't think that whole kind of, a lot of stuff would have been buried and pushed down. I mean, there's pluses and minuses to both, but I think
there are pluses and minuses. But you're right. But I don't think you see. Mind you, I don't watch EastEnders anymore.
No,
or
I don't.
Corrie, but I don't
God
think
knows
you
what's
see
going
those. Yeah, God knows what's going on. I see the odd trailer. But
I actually don't think those characters are. I don't think there are massive characters like that, though. I don't. I think there aren't. It's not the same. Or I don't know. Do you know what? I'm going to backtrack there, because I know that Kelly Bright is the landlady of the Old Vic, and I have seen pictures and clips of her, and she does seem sort of as out there.
Yeah.
So maybe we're actually making assumptions without even having seen the programs.
Maybe we're. Yeah, I think you could be right there. Possibly.
This is what you get on Limited Time Only: informed, made-up discussion.
Yes,
it's a paradox. It's interesting. You have to make your own mind up. What are we saying? Are we saying things that are true, or I mean, this is just we're just
it's like Trump.
Oh God,
we're a paradox in podcast form.
A paradox. We're intelligent yet completely misinformed.
Well, then we're not like Trump, are we?
No,
because I don't think there's a bean of intelligence there.
And he just doesn't care about information. So anyway, let's not talk about him.
Do you know what, Suze? We're 33 minutes in.
Well, we're not actually.
Oh,
because we spent 15 minutes talking about how brilliant we are.
That's true.
And then we did this. So that is a paradox in itself.
Yeah. Do you know what we haven't talked about, though? Emmerdale, Brookside.
Oh, my God, Brookside.
Hollyoaks.
Oh, well, Do we have to?
I mean, Hollyoaks. No, I was only talking about Hollyoaks. But Brookside,
Neighbours.
Brookside was Neighbours, Home and Away. I mean, the thing is, soaps through the 80s and 90s.
It was the golden age.
It was the golden age. I mean, literally, my whole day, as I'm sure yours was, and pretty much everyone who's of our age, it was, you know, you get home from school and then 5:30 Neighbours,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock Home and Away, and then it would be either Corrie or EastEnders every other night of the week.
What the hell are we doing?
And
This
then
is
a
all we
Sunday
did.
omnibus. I would then on a Sunday rewatch all of the episodes.
Well, if it was the
that I'd watched through
holidays,
the week.
would you watch Home and Away and Neighbours in the afternoon as well, and then in the evening again?
Yes, it was on at 1:30, wasn't it? After going for gold.
Do it twice. What
was that
and we
about?
say, you know, we talk about, oh God, you know, people don't do as much anymore. They're all on their screen. We were on our fucking screens. We were just sat in front of the lounge watching soaps all evening and afternoon.
We were, and
No hobbies.
no hobbies. With my gran, I used to watch, if I was off ill, Sons and Daughters and The
Yes.
Young Doctors.
Flying Doctors
Never
as well.
watched-
Did you watch Flying Doctors?
Flying Doctors
With that
Saturdays,
nice man,
occasionally.
Peter.
I don't really remember Flying Doctors.
I'm going to Google him.
Oh, Peter, he was in Neighbours.
Yeah, fit.
He was Shane. Peter, not O'Brien. What was his name?
I think it is Peter O'Brien.
Was it?
Oh, what's his name?
Got
Peter
that sort of-
O'Brien.
It was Peter
Well
O'Brien.
done. Do you know what his birthday was?
22nd of March.
It probably is. Let's have a look.
I don't know.
Oh, shut your fucking face. It's, sorry, my language is terrible today. It's the 25th of March. He actually has got it. He's got a bit of the Hugh Grants about him.
The 25th of March. I was 3 days out of 365 days. I was 3 days
You
out.
frighten me.
I frightened me.
You frighten everyone. You should be the landlady of the old Vic. You've got the tips for it. Like, sorry, everybody.
I don't understand.
She needs. Is anybody out there got a job that Esther could do that makes use of this innate skill that
Stupid
she has?
skill.
That's just knowing when people's birthdays are. Because if you sent Peter O'Brien a birthday card that landed on the 22nd of March, he wouldn't be surprised. He'd be like, oh, they just sent it a bit early.
How have I got that right? I mean, I don't know. I've never looked the man up.
Well, I have. He looks a bit slightly frightening now, but
Oh, does he?
well, everybody does.
Yeah.
But he was extremely attractive. Still is an attractive man, but there's definitely something of the Hugh Grants, not the Hugh Grants, Hugh Jackmans.
Oh, yes.
Have you got a touch of the Hugh Jackmans? Hugh Jackmans.
It's got.
I got a touch of the Hugh Jackmans.
Jackmans. I got a touch of the.
Come to the surgery, I'll sort you out. God, this woman could do everything. Landlady, laundrette, she's a doctor. It's great.
She can be Peter O'Brien.
She could be Peter O'Brien. Or
Tell
Peter
you who
O'Toole.
hasn't changed in that, like everybody, I'm quite shocked all the time about how, like, you'll see people that haven't been on telly for ages and you go, oh my God, but they've aged, but surely that means I've aged, but I can't have aged.
Yes.
Anyway, I saw a little bit of Noel Edmonds on the telly on Friday
I
night.
thought about him the
who
other
is
day.
76 and literally looks like he did in the 90s. I don't understand.
Has he still got the hair?
He's still got all the hair. Susie, he's no different.
Do you know, I literally had a bit of a crush on Noel Edmonds.
Did you? Did you have a moist?
No,
Moist
no,
dream?
no.
Well, if it
we
when
were
you're
watching
authoritative.
him when we were like 10. Come on, but
Wow.
no. Noel, he was a big personality, probably the biggest
He
personality
was.
in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Noel's
Christmas
house party,
morning.
Come on,
Yeah, Noel's house party, Christmas morning,
I'm going to
when
Google
he'd
him.
be
So.
when he would be flying around the world, flying around to children's hospitals on Christmas morning, and he'd be crying whilst basting his spuds.
Oh gosh, he does look good.
He's amazing. The guy does
He was brilliant.
cold showers. He does energy healing. He's into all very spiritual. We are energy, that kind of thing.
He's doing a
incredible.
program.
He is. That's what I saw him on, Suze. We're getting higher and higher as we talk.
Well,
When's his birthday, Suze?
why don't you give a guess?
Oh, Christ. 9th of October.
It's the 22nd of December. Just ruined it there.
Okay. Oh no.
Doesn't matter. You
I
can't get
feel like
everyone
I've lost a
right.
gift.
Anyway, Noel
Oh,
Lemons has
no,
got
I'm
nothing
sad.
to do with soaps.
No.
So maybe we should finish now. But and so I can just go and watch old episodes of Noel's House Party.
Yes.
I fall about laughing at the antics of Mr. Blobby.
Yes. Oh, what a hoot.
What an absolute hoot. Just like this episode of Limited Time Only.
Yes.
So we'll go and
Batshit
perfect our landlady of, fill in the, what's the other one? Woolpack. Fill in the blank.
Woolpack, Rover's Return.
Or the old Vic.
Yes.
It's gone very strange. And we will be back shortly because this is only halfway through the episode.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Get out of my podcast.
I've been thinking, Graham, about us.
We all right?
That's just it. We're all right. We're not burning with desire. We're not grappling on the stairs in a moment of forbidden passion like they do in the soaps.
We've got bad knees, Sue. The stairs are dangerous.
I don't want practical, Graham. I want drama. I want you to ravage me like Phyllis Pearce never quite managed with Percy Sugden. I want you to shout across the Queen Vic that you can't live without me like Granted with Sharon, and then rip your shirt open and take me on the bar floor.
But never showed that.
No, but it was implied, Graham. I want you to look at me the way Ken Barlow looks at his own reflection, with longing and intellectual lust.
Ken Barlow lives alone now, Sue.
Exactly, because he burned too bright. What do? We watch Tipping Point in silence and occasionally mutter about fish fingers being on offer.
They were on offer.
I'm not saying I want an affair, Graham. I just want a bit of tension, a bit of suspense. Slam a door, call me a harlot, pretend I'm Janine Butcher in a power suit and you're threatening to push me off a balcony.
We don't have a balcony.
Metaphorically, Graham. I want plot. I want action. I want you, shirtless, clutching a tumbler of whiskey, whispering, "It was always you, Sue," as rain lashes at the window and the helicopters on the Dallas theme tune kicks in.
You're thinking of the A-team. I could take my shirt off, but I've just eaten.
Let's just watch Curry.
Do you want me to look at you like Roy Cropper looks at his train timetable?
No, Graham. I want you to look at me like David Platt looks at disaster. Like you know it's coming and you want it anyway.
All right, I'll take my shirt off after Corrie, if I haven't bloated.
It's a start.
Lucy, thank you so much for giving Limited Time Only a little bit of your Limited Time Only. I've never said that before.
Why is it called Limited Time Only?
Because we're going to die soon.
Well,
Yeah.
bit macabre,
Yeah,
it's
quite comedy podcast.
Quite.
It is really.
We like to mix that, like to mix the two genres together.
We
And
don't
just
really.
Trojan horse the death in, basically. Today's guest is Lucy Speed, a beloved British actress whose career spans theatre, television and film, and began when she was just a child. Best known for playing Natalie Evans in EastEnders, Lucy has had a rich and varied career, including roles such as DS Stevie Moss in The Bill, Stella Pryor in The Archers, and Bec Baker, Peter Kay's wife, in his BBC sitcom Cradle to the Grave. Lucy brings a blend of warmth, wit and emotional intelligence to every role she plays, and, as you'll hear, she's deeply thoughtful about the human experience behind the craft. In this conversation, Lucy opens up about what it was like working with the legendary Julie Walters, how being an empath has shaped her both personally and professionally, and her hopes for leaving a legacy that changes the way we understand and respond to bullying in everyday life. Welcome to the show, Lucy Speed.
You, Lucy, are incredibly busy. Not just with acting, but
As
mumming.
any other middle-aged actors.
Yeah, but you're in the Archers as well.
I'm in the Archers, which is great, and thank God for that.
I mean, we both know it's not completely regular, but it is.
No.
It's there. It's always sort of there.
No, I haven't been in it for ages, and it's just picked up again, which is nice. Just in time for the nice hot train, just for the summer, for the nice hot train.
Yeah, I think they go through the list. Which actors can cope with intense heat?
Yeah.
Right, we'll get Stella Pryor can come back in. But yes, thank God, because I love the character of Stella. And how long have you been playing Stella now?
Well, I don't know.
5 years? Were you doing it in
God,
COVID?
no, it's not that long.
No?
Is it? No.
I don't know. Were you there for the COVID
I keep
years?
thinking it's just a couple of years, but let's say 3 years. Let's guess at that. It's got to be 3 years.
3 years. And
at least.
I mean, I know there'll be Archers fans listening to this. And Stella immediately.
Maybe 4 years.
4
Yeah.
years?
Maybe, because I think it was just after lockdown. Because I certainly joined when we were having read-throughs over Zoom.
Okay, yeah. So it has been a while. But I mean, when you came in as Stella, it was an instant impact, and I think you got a surname pretty quickly, and that
Is
is
the
the
mark
sign.
of whether is it?
Absolutely. If you've got a surname on the cast, you're in. And I remember Stella got one pretty quickly. I think after a few months, it was like, yeah, she's in.
Well, I didn't realise that. I know I just had one name for ages, and I was like, oh, it's like Stella.
Like Kylie or Madonna.
Yeah. And when they asked me to do it, I was like excited. I was like, yeah, can I? And they, what accent do I have? And they were like, well, kind of whatever you want to do. And I was like, well, I just want to do the West Country accent, obviously. And they were like, no, not that. She's not from there. And I was like, oh, Manchester? And they were like, well, no, just your accent, really. And I was like,
so not whatever you wanted to do. What they wanted was your accent.
I think if I'd come up with a really, really good, plausible suggestion, they might have gone, great idea. But I obviously didn't.
Do you like doing accents? Do you like sort of stepping away from you?
Yeah, I love doing accents. And see, because I grew up acting in the 80s, that was when to do all the accents was that was good. That would get you more work. But nowadays, you're not allowed. You have to be from Wales if you're going to do Welsh, don't you? Or you have to be... I mean, I've got a lot of Irish family, but that's not... I think once I did EastEnders, everybody just thought I was an EastEnder.
Yeah. It's weird
included.
that, isn't it? I always think that's a shame because actors, the joy of it is stepping away from yourself and being able to play different people and use different accents. And if you've got those skills, then why does it matter if you're telling a story when it comes to accents?
I've done a lot of accents on stage and on radio, and I have done quite a few. I've done a lot of northern parts on screen. I don't think the northerners mind me doing northern accents.
Yeah.
But
because you were in that Peter Kay program, weren't you? That was brilliant.
Oh yeah, that was kind of an old fashioned Cockney accent, I suppose, because it was, we figured, both Peter and I figured that, you know, their Cockney accents were from the 20s when they grew up, or from the 30s when they grew up, you know. And London accents have changed a lot. And so I suppose when we did that as well, there was a lot of people like, oh, Peter Kay's accent doesn't... And then he did a perfect South London, Bermondsey accent of that era.
Wow.
But I think people find it really difficult to tune in to somebody's accent if they're used to hearing them speak in a different accent now.
And Peter Kay's so well known, isn't he? I mean, it's just, you know...
But Julie Walters just had a career doing tons of different accents, and people knew her for doing that. Although we know she's from there.
Yeah,
but,
she's from round by us, isn't she?
She gave my theatre company £100 once.
Oh, she's lovely. I did. Yeah. I shared a part with her weirdly in a thing called National Treasure, where I played the younger version of her.
Oh yes! Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and we had rehearsals, and when I met her, I burst into tears.
Did you? Oh my God, I think I would have done too.
Yeah.
I was just a bit overwhelmed.
You were little.
It was really weird.
That's so lovely.
Julie Walters, and she was my hero. I remember getting a review for a one-woman play I did, and when I went to Scarborough and did it there, they reviewed. She said she's like a young Julie Walters, and it was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
And then you were a young Julie Walters.
Yeah.
You do have quite a bit of Julie Walters about you now. You say that actually, and
well,
when you were
she's just brilliant.
She's amazing. I think I'd have cried if I'd have met her as well. And
It was really bizarre because it was before we started rehearsals, and I just bumped into her in the loo, and I burst into tears.
What did she say?
Yeah, what did she do?
She was very gracious. But obviously, she just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
But I think once rehearsal started and she realised I wasn't a nutcase, it was okay. But, you know, it was a bit overwhelming. And then Robbie Coltrane in the same Harry Potter room, you know. I burst into tears loads anyway.
Oh, God.
Hello.
Lucy,
Welcome to the club.
I cry every day. And I said that to someone the other day, and they said, what do you cry at? And I was, are you sad all the time? I said, no, I cry at like rainbows and stuff. And I'll cry at like, isn't that a beautiful view? Or, someone turned their chair around on
She's
the voice.
very sweet.
Oh,
She's
God, anything. It's cry at everything.
Always.
So
I
Julie
used to
Walters
cry
would
at
have been a
people
mess.
winning money on the radio.
Yes, just happy for them.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. People I don't know.
Old
I think
people
it's a nice
in Tesco. But if
Do
my
you
mind
think-
just goes, he's on his own, he's probably perfectly happy. He's touching up some fruit. I'll just develop a whole backstory for him, and then I'll feel sad.
He's vulnerable.
Yes.
You'll project a lot of like, oh my God, he just needs a hug.
Do you think that's an actor thing? Do you think? Because I mean, I think we're both the same.
Your empathy's off the scale.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, when I was acting, I remember I was at the National Theatre when I was about 8, and they used to have Cardboard City under there on the South Bank. Did you go much? You were obviously very, very young, so I don't know how much you went to the South Bank.
Yes, we are. We're 25.
In 1985, I think it was, and I used to have to walk through Cardboard City all the time to get from the station to the National. And I used to write poetry every night as a kid and put it under my mum's pillow, and there was so much poetry about, I mean, you know, loads of poetry about look up from the gutter and new light shines through. It was really dramatic, but it really upset me. And even now, I have to, if I know there's a gauntlet that I run on the way to the Archers, and now those homeless people look really young.
Yes,
and
yes.
I never have cash on me, but I make a point of going and get cash so that I can, you know, because you just feel so useless, don't you? And I think there's something about being an actor as well with homelessness, that you're always like this far from debtor's prison, aren't you? So you can go, listen, mate, I get how it can happen like that.
Yeah.
And when they're so young, I don't know. But
like you say,
I was tortured.
And it's like when it's empathy, isn't it? We had a guest on who did a Clifton Strengths test, which is, you know, the list of traits you've all got, and my top one was empathy, and I thought, and it's the shadow side of that is that you're just feeling everybody's pain all the time, or maybe obviously just projecting pain onto people that may not be there,
giving people made up pain.
Yes. So
but
you
also,
started. Oh, go on.
But also, I think that. My daughter's really empathetic, which makes her very sort of emotionally wise. But school's tough. And I said to her, you know, Christ, we've really done a great job of preparing you for adulthood. You're like the coolest adult I know, and really kind and empathetic, and you're funny, you're all this stuff. I said, but we really didn't prepare you for childhood because kids are narcissists. I think being a kid to have a lack of empathy it makes childhood easier.
Yes. Oh, God,
really
definitely.
Which makes them better humans, have a harder time because other kids are literally narcissists. And then they go through all that pain and all the consequences of that and grow into nicer human beings. But if you're a kid and you're already that person, it's very confusing. I hate bullies in the sense that I was bullied, and I hate seeing anybody being bullied. But I recently come to this epiphany that I just feel quite sorry for them. And I really think that those are children that are struggling. And in our schools, we really don't deal with it very well. They don't know how to deal with it. Most of it's just keep it out of Ofsted. And so I literally was lying in bed at my 3 a.m. menopausal stage. And I was like, I think way too much about bullies and kids in school. And I thought, well, I have to do something about it. So I'm going to, Tanya Byron doesn't know this yet, but her husband was in the bill with us, and I'm going to call her up and ask her about getting some psychologists together and trying to get a framework, a program system that you can put in schools, that schools can follow, that is for the bullies. Because at the moment, they take the child that's being bullied out and help them deal with their emotions.
where it's the child that's being bullied that has got problems with their
Yes.
that's a bully that's got problems with emotions. And I also think that when you work on the child that's being bullied, they feel disenfranchised, gaslit, not understood. Nobody believes them. There's a lot of, well, they've got issues, but they don't do anything for the child that's got the issues. They're just being asked to be really empathetic, and that their feelings don't count. And I sort of think there'd be less school shootings if we didn't, because it's not the bullies that go school shooting, it's the kids that are just feeling unsupported and disenfranchised and out of the scene,
Yes. Yeah.
I really think there's a massive gap, and we haven't changed how we deal with systemic bullying. And then it goes on into workplaces and stuff like that, and the root it's got to be a sort of program that helps those bullies feel less frightened by the world, less disenfranchised. It might be really good for early markers of children that are vulnerable at home. The reason I'm talking about this is because I was thinking, why have I got this empathy? I mean, you don't necessarily need it to be an actor. You can emulate. There's all different styles of actors, isn't there? But it's got to be for a reason. And I think we all get to this sort of menopausal stage and we go, what is my legacy? Doing a Justin from the Archers. What? And I think it's something that has tortured me, why people are mean to each other. And it all comes out of fear, doesn't it? And in schools, it's so systemic, and they are all these vulnerable children that need people to be adults. There's no adults anymore, is there?
No.
No one's saying, listen, kid, I know how to help you with this.
Yeah.
And we just kind of go, well, it'll all be all right. It'll be somebody else the next day. And off we all trot with our first sort of notch on our bedpost of trauma.
What's prompted the interest in bullying? Is it something that's happened to you? Or
I was bullied when I was at school because I didn't go to stage school, but I was always on the telly. But the only school that would let me really go off and act was sort of quite a rough school in Croydon, and it was miles away. I had a good time. I coped with it quite well, but bullying is bullying. And I was bullied at primary school as well because I was going through it. Jealousy, mean kids, but, and I was tiny. And they'd always go, oh, Lucy can handle it. But you don't. You sort of toughen up and you sort of create a thing. You'll have to cut this out, but I did one of my bullies. One of my bullies saw me at a do that I was at once, where I was the patron of a charity.
Yeah.
And I could see her coming over, and I just thought, what am I going to say? I don't know what I'm going to say, because she's going to ask me to act as if we are friends. And she was horrible to me. And anyway, she came over and she went, oh yeah, do you remember me from school? And I said, certainly. And I introduced her to my husband and went, Spencer, this is so-and-so. She was a total cunt to me at school.
Did you? That's so good.
And I just turned around and carried on eating my dinner. I think when I was first very famous on EastEnders, and the press were really awful, and I mean there was 21 million viewers an episode. It was insane.
Yeah. Wow.
But they would make so many lies up, and I was 17, and the PCC were kind of like, well, they can get away with it. They've got loads of money. And I remember thinking then, I grew up thinking, well, when I'm older, the adults will be really okay and reasonable. And then I was just getting bullied by the press.
Yeah.
And for stuff I hadn't done or wasn't like, because they wanted to make up a persona that I didn't have because it was sells more papers. And I just thought, this is really, really like being gaslit for the whole. So I just sort of realised that as a country, as a world, we really ignore bullying and just crack on with it.
You started acting really young. How did you get into it? Was it something you wanted to do from an early age?
I don't know, just sort of fell into it. I used to go to like babies ballet at the local dance school in South Croydon, and there was an old Tiller girl called Monica Wilde who used to teach us.
A Tiller girl? I haven't heard the word Tiller girl for years. That's so cool.
Girl, yeah. Monica Wilde, and she had a cane, and she was very, very
fabulous.
She played the role really well, And one day she said, so I want everyone to get an agent. I think it was an 80s thing. Do you know what I mean? Like there was kids' movies everywhere, wasn't there? And it was like literally the dance school was, she had a studio in her back of her house. It wasn't like Sylvia Young's or anything. And it was on a roundabout, like in an old house in South Croydon. Anyway, and we used to, tell you who else was an alumni from there was Nigel Harmon. We used to do shows together at the Stanley Halls in South Norwood. And she just said, I want everyone to get an agent. We all got agents. And I got an agent called Wendy Wisby. She was equally as dramatic. She had this big old house. And like when you went in, it was like something out of a Hollywood movie. Like downstairs, it was like an old, disused, like a 20s dance hall with a piano that was covered over in it. And she was disabled by then. And she had this assistant. And, you know, we went up to her rooms, and, you know, and they looked you over. My brother came. And I remember her assistant kept giving us biscuits, which were awful. They were stale, and we kept chucking them out the window. And she kept saying, "Oh, you like those?" She was giving us more and more and more. We were like swinging them out. Anyway, yeah. So she took me on, and I think that first year I did like 12 adverts because I was gap tooth, massive gap, loads of freckles, long blonde hair, and I did like peanut butter adverts and just ads, you know. I did a bit of modelling, but I hated it. I hated people touching me and pulling me around and putting makeup on me and clothes. And then I did Rumpole with Bailey, which was a show that was around. In fact, I was working with John Sim the other day, and he was like, "My first job was Rumpole with Bailey," and I went, "So was mine."
Oh wow!
And I did loads of movies and different things. I did a movie with Hugh Grant playing young Judy Davis, and it was about Chopin. And loads of bits and bobs, and I was really, really posh. And I used to go to elocution lessons at this old lady's house called Miss Skinner, and used to go up the stairs to this pink room that was like something out of a Hitchcock movie, which was all like frozen in 1920s childhood. And we'd have to practice all out, and we'd do speech and prose festivals. And there's all these tapes of me when I was younger and stuff. And I'd be like, you know, "Why, Mummy, why can't I have a weasel?" It was really, really hot. Really hot. And then when I went into EastEnders and I went to do the EastEnders accent, I was then cast as Cockneys for the rest of my days. Yes. And I remember when I went into EastEnders, a very posh, very well-known producer who I'd worked a lot for called my then agent, I won't say the name, and said, "Well, of course, we shall never be able to employ her now." I was like, "That's nice. That's gracious of you to ring up and say that."
That's like a troll. It's like a first kind of troll.
It just sort of proves the sort of working class snobbery, isn't it, in the industry?
And you talked about earlier, obviously, about loving Julie Walters and the fact that you like stepping outside of yourself. So I take from that you sort of view yourself as a character actress as well.
Yeah.
And do you feel that you then haven't had the opportunity to play those roles as much as you'd like? Because
I've had loads of different roles and different opportunities, and I've been really blessed like that. There's always more, and I constantly feel like I'm changing and getting better and learning more about how I act. It's not a done deal for me. I remember as a kid saying, "I don't want to be famous, I just want to be successful." And I do think that there is, and I definitely balked a bit when I was in EastEnders, and I left because I found that really oppressive. But I do understand that there's a sort of payoff situation, and you know, those people that I know that courted the celebrity a bit more probably find it easier to get work. But I always wanted to I always feared being too known for something would stop me from being able to play different roles. But of course the industry goes through all sorts of different eras, and I feel like I've straddled a few. And I was chatting to a young actor the other day, and he was talking about an actor that we all admired in the 80s and saying, you know, it was something they did was awful. And I said, but the style has changed. So his style, loads of styles change, we forget, in the industry, and that you can layer up and you have to reimagine your style. And quite often, I mean, I feel like how I wanted to act when I was a kid is now the style now. And I have to go back to that very innocent portrayal, whereas when I was younger in the 80s there was a lot of it's a craft and you must these little tricks, and you know, all these older actors kind of giving me this great advice, but that gets outmoded like anything else.
I mean, I always think that soap, we were because we were talking about soaps, Esther and I, in our chat for this episode, and that for a character actor, a soap is absolutely fantastic, or at least certainly was actually in the period that you
I
were
think
you were in
if
EastEnders.
you're older, but I don't think they give 17-year-olds great characters to play.
No, although you were able to be,
She was
although
quite
having
cocky
the different
and funny.
accent and the
She was quite cocky and funny, and also, but also eventually in any long-running thing, your character changes and it goes through tropes, and then it becomes, if you're a female, there'll be a lot of crying, a relationship, a child on the scene. It will slowly fall into a trope. I was saying this the other day. Men are always have a job in everything. They're always like a lawyer, a sort of misunderstood genius, a bad guy, a cop, or women get to play just women characters, and if they're well written, that's interesting enough. There's no hook, and so as female actors, we sometimes get to do some brilliant stuff, which is very raw and very real, without hanging it off the guise of being, an incredible doctor or whatever. And that's what I kind of really like about Stella, is that she's a farmer. She's a farmer first and foremost.
Yes,
that's what she was, and that's what she understands. And I really like that the writers have managed to keep her, even though she's in a relationship, not suddenly make her really good at relationships and talking about her feelings, because her character she's used to being a farmer on her own. And of course, there's all the other stuff that they have a responsibility to represent well, that she's a lesbian and all that stuff, but it doesn't become who she is. Who she is a farmer, which is really rare for a female character.
Yeah. And
to just remain true to that career.
I remember being in a scene with you, and we were talking about the script. I think we were having an argument or something, which is what Tracy likes to do, really. But it was that not falling into two women hating on each other. Yeah, which is another thing. I think, going back to bullying and things, it's women sticking together is just absolutely vital. But I remember thinking, you're terrific. I knew you were a terrific actress, but I just was like, that's so brilliant, because you're really looking out for how women are portrayed and how your character's portrayed, and looking out for me as well, actually, and how Tracy was being portrayed, because it is a thing as well that women end up catfighting and bitching and not getting on.
Yeah, and I think that's not necessarily anyone's fault. I just think that mostly in TV shows, we make up that really beautiful part of being able to be an actor and of human life, which is the empathy, the passion, whatever. Male actors quite often get to just concentrate generally on the more professional side of stuff.
Yes.
And then if they're drawn into something emotional, it's a much more complicated journey. Do you know what I mean? And probably a longer journey. And that's me really being very general about it. But I think that there's something lovely about being a female actor that isn't. I know generally quite a lot of supporting roles, there'll be 5 male leads in something and like 1 female.
Yeah.
But there's quite a lot of beautiful roles. So they don't necessarily always have to be these amazing characters, with a limp and a hunch. But they are layered and brilliant just through the dint of being a female.
Yeah.
And so there's always a brilliant character to find as a female, because female lives are so layered. I've just done a show which is basically just all female leads, and it's all about, there's a real deep storyline in it, but it's all about basically mums and a school run, in the sense that nobody is like a hero in this kind of thing, and it is just about, and I like all that. I like seeing those characters come out. It's like I did a little tiny thing recently, and it's like a cop show thing, and I know that we're trying to create an atmosphere and all that. I said, but my character's not interested. She's got a leg wax at 3. She does this as a job. She doesn't know that anyone's interested in this, just another murder to her. You know what I mean? Because there are people whose jobs are like that, isn't it? They can't just spend... And I know we're doing a TV show and we're supposed to be really like, this happened. I said, but in my case, I'm just going to play a life shit. People are shit.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, talk about, because you direct as well, don't you? You're a director.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah. And is that something you'd like to do more of? And what is it about
I think I've
directing that
always
you
wanted
enjoy?
to do it. Even when I was younger, there was a director called Christine Seacombe. I did a show called Dodgem, which was fabulous and had some great people in it. John Telfer was in it.
Oh, right. He plays Alan in the... Reverend Alan Franks in The Archers.
And the wonderful late great Trevor Peacock.
Oh, wow.
Played my uncle. Anyway, that was a really great character for me as a kid. And she said, oh, she won't carry on acting. She'll be a director. And I thought, oh, she really thought... And I love giving other actors ideas and seeing them run off with it. It's really creatively... You get more creative freedom, I suppose. But I didn't do it for so long. Somebody sort of forced me into it a little while ago. I didn't do it because I think women go, oh, I've got to be brilliant at this and I've got to know exactly, I've got to be absolutely perfect. Whereas men will go, oh, yeah, I'll give that a go. Have a crack at that. I was talking to another female director the other day and she's like, oh, and I'm here, I'm shadowing and I've just been for a course on this and I've gone, and we both said, but there's loads of blokes that on her job that have just
rock
gone,
up.
Yeah, I'll go for it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, no, I'm still going, no, I'm not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
And
Why do you think that is? Why do you think as women we do that?
I don't know. I think growing up in this industry, I think from childhood, I personally felt like a child for a long time in the sense that I was like, I'll just be really good and not make any noise and be good at my job and go home and be professional and blah, blah, blah. Whereas I think boys just have this competition that forces, is it testosterone that gives them this fear? Is it that inherently the patriarchy kind of makes it easier for blokes?
I think women are criticised more. There was actually a statistic I saw the other day that's saying that women in positions of authority receive sort of 76% or something more criticism than their male counterpart.
Yeah, and they're being bossy rather than efficient.
Yes. They're bossy. They're angry, or it's the language around women when they are in a position of and directing is I see it as a position of authority in a way. Because you are effectively in charge, but it's horrifying and it's terrifying, and it is a thing that women will, in terms of job applications, a woman wouldn't apply for the same position as a man, even though she's higher, got more qualifications, and the man has less, just because she feels like she isn't quite right for it, whereas a man would just go along.
There's been a lot of glass cliffs, haven't they? Like Theresa May, like nobody wanted the job and she got put there just so they could shove her off the cliff.
And I remember the front of the newspapers, there was her and Scottish lady, mine's gone blank.
Nicola
Sturgeon. Yeah. And they were the two leaders and they're on the front of the paper and it was like, who wore it best? Whose pins were best? And it's like, these two women are leading. And you said something a few minutes ago, Lucy. You either said, you were acting and you were younger and you decided to make no noise or stay small or something, and that you made that decision to get when you were little, and it was just a fleeting thing, but it's something that I've heard so many times. And I was actually cleaning the kitchen the other day with YouTube on in the background, and it was Emma Greed, who runs Skims and everything with Kim Kardashian, interviewing Gwyneth Paltrow, and they were talking about the backlash Gwyneth Paltrow had because she'd let some staff go, and she said, but that's because I moved back to LA, and so we were changing the way the company was done. She said, if Google lets some staff go, do you think that would be on the cover of the newspapers? But I'm being made out to be ambitious. She's too much. She's too this. She's
because they
cold,
expect us to be nurturing and women in positions of power. And I mean, when I say I made myself small, it's because I was just to be professional, and I didn't.
Yes,
like the thought,
exactly.
Children should be sick, and I thought if I'm good enough, somebody will notice. Well, actually, that doesn't really work.
No. But I think that's what's drummed into us all as girls, because I notice all the women I know say the same things, which is the phrase is good girl and stuff like that. And I think that's what's drummed into.
Yeah. And
when we were kids.
And you think that there's an adult around that's going to go, oh, she's great, gold star, she can do that.
Yeah.
You have to push yourself to the front, which I think men are a bit better at competition-wise. I mean...
Well, and I remember about 2 years ago, I had to set a boundary with a family member who I've never had to do. I've always sort of bitten my tongue and thought, oh my God. And I set this boundary, and then it was a female, and then she referred to me as a bossy little madam. And I thought, what now? When you're 45?
There's a lot of generation.
It's generational.
Older,
Which is what will have been said to her, and then and it's all this sort of subliminal language that we're not aware that's sort of constantly being directed.
It's quite scary. My parents live with me, and I've always lived multi-generationally. I live with my grandmother and my great-grandfather, and I think it's a real sort of interesting social experiment in the sense that I can see and empathise with people getting older, the fear, the way that we've learned and been taught the same way, and for some of those women, they basically worked for the company, which was their husband, and he was the leader, and that worked for them. And it's quite insulting for them, for us to say, But somebody the other day said to me, in rehearsals when you were talking about that, I am a bit shortcut. I had a director say, I said, do you think I'm a bit bossy? He said, no, I just like your shortcut way of working, because I'll just go, just tell me where I'm coming on and coming off, and I'll figure it out. Or we don't need that. I don't need to have that. I don't need to do that exercise. Let's just get on. Let's all get on and do we really need an hour? Let's just, do you know what I mean? And he's like, because it's so many years down the line. And but somebody said to me the other day, well, not everyone's like you, Luce. They asked me advice and strong and knows what's going on. I said, I didn't arrive. I've arrived at this person through heartache and being absolutely kicked from pillar to post by people. Women don't get to middle age and be strong and know their mind because they were born like that and they're bossy little madams. They get there because experience has told them, well, they know best. You can't say you arrive at wisdom through heartache, and you don't arrive at that wisdom like Snow White.
No.
And they were just innocent, oh, sweet, and women quite often have to give advice, but wrap it up in a thing that says, oh, you've thought of this advice, and or at work go, well, this idea is fantastic, but let me make it feel like it's his idea. Bullshit to that. Who has any time for all that? We're all adults. What about this? Great, let's get on. And for me as a director, if somebody says, no, I don't like that idea, let's get on, I'm like, great, good, let's crack on. Let's crack on. I did a farce once, and a young director was like, and we were doing rep, and he was like, I think I was pregnant, and well, let's start this. Well, let's do this exercise where we pretend we're in sleeping bags. I went, I just need to know my exits and entrances.
On a fast.
And
get on
honestly,
with it.
I'm pregnant. I'm doing the Shakespeare on the other half of the week. Just tell me where I come on and go off, because I can tell you now, that's the stuff that I'm going to find difficult.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have time to lie on the floor and for this 1940s farce and pretend I'm in a cave in a sleeping bag. I just can't.
Nobody has time for that, I don't think.
So I literally won't be ready.
Is there?
And you did it anyway, and then I had to say to him at the end, I feel exactly the same way about my character now, 4 weeks down the line, as I did when I first
before I got in the bloody sleeping bag,
because it's a farce.
I don't know what time I come on.
It's like knowing what the point is.
Do brilliant things. Like I know that Matthew Dunster does circuit training before rehearsals and stuff like that, which I think is a great idea to get your energy up and get you focused and I love those sort of exercises and things like that. I do think that as middle-aged women, we get a bad rap because we have arrived at a point of knowledge that means we don't need all the fluff. And that is considered to be knowledgeable and real leadership skills when it's male, and with a female, you're a bossy little madam. And I think that's why you get less women in directors' roles, because we consistently know how we will be perceived.
Yes, you can't win, can you? You can't actually win. That's the which is the scary thing.
I did a play once when I retexted it like 3 times because they kept saying, we were sharing the stage with another show that was coming on after us, kept saying you can't have those lights because they're using it, and they were on longer than us, and you can't have that. So I retexted it 3 times, and then an hour before the show they just went, you can't have those now. And I happened to be standing up, and I said to the girl, well, you just tell me what lights we can have, because I really need to know now, because I've got to retake it again, and it was quite complicated. And she burst into tears and said, don't shout at me.
Oh.
And I just thought, what would if Richard Eyre would have absolutely smashed the theatre up, nobody would have gone on. And you wouldn't have said to him 4 times. So I just thought, right, so that's what it is. I'm being aggressive because you basically putting us all in and I owed my actors the time to feel comfortable, and I just think that's one of the problems. It's
very complicated, isn't it?
As a female, we're supposed to always keep our cool, and telling you, menopause is working against me on that.
Yeah, especially in this bloody heat.
Rising up, yeah.
Lucy, is there a particular play, perhaps, or a role or a type of production that you would love to do? Still,
Well,
I mean, you've done so much, but yeah.
I trained to dance. I've never used any dance on stage, and although I have trouble getting in and out of bed, genuinely, I wake up in the morning and think, how many injuries have I sustained during my sleep? So I don't know how.
What are you doing in your sleep, Lucy?
Circuit training.
Well, just aging. I'm quite good at that.
Deteriorating.
I go quite hard for the aging in my sleep. But a cabaret, I always wanted to play Sally Bowles.
Oh, you'd be great.
I'd have loved to have done that. And
there's still time.
Yeah, it would be a really particularly tragic version of Sally Bowles, wouldn't it? But I think it would work. Like she's aging,
think it would work.
Still thinks that she's going to make it. I mean, that's kind of like every actor, though, isn't it? It's like being an actor, I always say, is like having a really, unless you're like the top 0.01% that are Hollywood stars and don't stop working. It's like having a bad boyfriend, isn't it? He sort of calls you in the night for a booty call, and you're on the bus. You've quickly got ready, you're on the bus on the way there, and then he calls and says, I'm going to bed now. That's like every audition feels like. I mean, I love going into auditions because I at least get a day out and a chat and a coffee and a bit of human interaction. But the self-tape thing is really, really bad. I feel like I'm on a dating app. It's
yeah.
And you've got to guess. It's like trying to guess someone's star sign.
Yes. You can drive yourself insane, can't you? It's the hope. You have to have hope to be an actor. But at the same time, it's horrible. The hope is horrible in a way.
But it
gets
to
dashed.
Be in an audition in a room. You go in, you speak. You can sort of gauge if you're an empath. By talking to the person, you can very quickly gauge how you think they might want this played. There's a skill to auditions. On a self-tape, it's almost impossible to guess, is it?
It's pissing into the wind, as Esther would probably have.
And you're doing it in the 5 minutes between picking up the kids or your parents coming in. My mum and dad like to come in quite often and ask questions, and you've got to find someone to read with. I did a self-tape with my dad once, and he when he'd finished his lines, he just shouted, "Cut!" And I had another speech to go.
Oh, Dad.
Have you ever considered doing something else? And what would you do if you had a second
I've
career?
always done other jobs as much as I could. I think when I left Eastenders the very next day, and I was really famous, I got a job and I delivered sweets around North London in a truck. And there was a truck driver and I used to jump out and deliver the crisps and stuff.
Wow.
Just because I was brought up as a jobbing actor, and all these older actors, like the girls I used to hang around with at the Nash that didn't shave their legs and smoked, the lesbians, and, they were really cool. And I just thought, oh yeah, I'm not going to shave my legs. And they were like, you have to work. You can't sit around spending your money. You've got to get another job. So it was just ingrained in me. So I've done a load of jobs. Not so easy now with kids because you kind of, it's hard to just work at all. But yeah, I've done loads of different jobs.
But have you ever considered a full career change? Because I know, Susie, we've talked about this a lot, and you've thought about
twice a year.
Twice a year. Susie will go, I'm going off to train to speech therapist. Susie always talks about
I would like to. I tried to set up a cleaning company once for career women so that they could earn money in between when their careers were quiet. But it was impossible to organise and get enough people to do and to commit to, because also then if you're committing to cleaning jobs and you haven't got anyone,
they all get a job at the same time.
Yeah.
But yes, I'd love to do something else. I sort of think to myself, well, you want to feel valid and useful. And I think as an actor, you spend such a lot of time waiting around for work. And I think particularly at this point in my life, I want to feel, I like being useful and doing stuff.
And you've got so much.
I don't know what I do.
You're a brilliant actress, and then you've got so much potential as well for the things you can do. So that's why this bullying project could be, is really.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I hope I'll do that. I don't really know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to look into that. Bear in mind, this is the last 24 hours I've had this thought, and I'm already talking about it.
You've said it now. You've said it. It's going out into the ether. And what you said, you were right. You've written some stuff. I was going to ask you about
I do write
writing.
bits, yeah. Written a couple of little bits, not that have really gone anywhere. A friend of mine and I wrote something that was going to be put on at Edinburgh, but I was going to give birth about 4 weeks beforehand, so we had to pull out of that. But it was my first, and I was like, I'll be fine. We'll just take the baby with me. Oh my God. I had such bad colic. Literally, it was 12 weeks and I couldn't get out of the house.
Gosh, yeah.
I was crying, going, I've got her in the car seat. That's taken me 2 hours.
Oh God, that's awful.
Yeah.
I know. I used to be a nanny as well, so I was like, I'm going to ace this. I'm just like, it was the best nanny. And
literally nothing prepares you, does it? Not even looking after other people's kids. Wow.
No, look, I'm still traumatized.
Yeah.
But I think that's because she was such an empath that she just came out like that. When my daughter came out screaming, I was like, yeah, I'm with you, babe. I'm with you. I was like, you have no idea how much.
Well, she's got a bit of a trailblazer as a mum, though, hasn't she? I mean, the fact that you want to make these changes in I think it's brilliant, and it's not something that I'd ever really thought about, the fact that we don't have these procedures in place for bullies and things like that. But
we all
and the conversations we have.
We all fall into tropes. We're all guilty of it. I mean, with Kitty, bringing her up, I was like, she's so beautiful as a kid. I was like, don't anyone tell her she's beautiful. She's worth more than the sum of her beauty. That beauty will open doors anyway. She doesn't need to. She needs to know how brilliant she is. She's a brilliant mind. She's that and the other. And then my son, and I used to think, boy mums, oh my God, they let them get away with everything. I've said to Kitty, don't you dare cry. You come from a long line of strong women, and you will pick up this mantle we've handed you and you will run with it with your chin up. And then with my son, I'm like, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, mummy will do it for you. I'm like, stop.
Yes, I'm very like that with my two.
Yeah. And Kitty will occasionally go, don't be a boy, mum. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, he doesn't get it. And we do expect, and my nans, I do come from a real long line of strong women. There's something I'm writing at the moment, actually, that's called What's Happy Got to Do With It? Because that is a direct quote from my nan, my Cockney nan, who was an incredible woman, lived a life without complaint, a difficult life, and was very capable. But when I left Eastenders, I said, I just wasn't happy there. She just went, happy? What the hell's happy got to do with it? That's a direct quote, age 17. And she'd just like, right then, mate, get on with it, mate. And then my other nan, who was quite awfully, was no complaints, just carried on doing stuff, And I think I just fell into that trait with my daughter of just, come on, you got to be strong. And I just thought, you don't have time to. She's awful. I mean, we talk and we're both real empaths and very soft, but I don't know why I do that. And I do.
It's that language.
I think I'm the same.
Yeah,
I thought about it the other day. I was thinking about this exact thing the other day. because B is the older one, and like your daughter's older, the oldest of the two, and so they have to. And and the way I look at myself and go, that must have been me as well, because I'm the older of brothers.
We're trying to toughen up and prepare the females and soften the males.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mustn't mother him into being ineffectual in his own, domestic life and emotional life.
Well, he's very capable like that. Luckily, my husband cooks and does it, so he sees all that. But I do think that children get different parents. There's a big age gap, 6 years, and I was an older parent anyway. Kitty had her at 36, and then Sully at nearly 42. And I do think you're a different person. You've grown into a different person, so they get a different parent.
Yes.
They kind of get different humans to parent them.
Well, they get the one who's had a baby already, which is I mean, God,
I know,
traumatized from that.
Yeah, exactly. It is interesting to figure out. I mean, my brother and I were very close in age, so I think we got a similar experience from my parents. But
it's going back to what you were saying at the top as well. Is that like the language that we use and the way as women we sort of think keep yourself small, but I don't know. It's all the language that we unintentionally are filtering to our daughters, because I've also got an older daughter and a younger son. There's only 2 years between my two, but I remember when my daughter started her periods, and like we actually had a cry and we had a hug, and cause she really didn't want to grow up. And then it was after a little while, it's like, right, come on then, this is it for the next 40 years. And
Kitty was fuming about hers.
Was she?
She was just fuming about it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, unfortunately, that's the lot. But she was angry for a good year and a half.
Oh, was she?
Well,
do you? I mean, my daughter cried when she turned 9 because she didn't want to be 9. She didn't want to grow up, and she's devastated that she's going to be 11 in September. She really doesn't want to not be a child, and I don't recall feeling like that. I just wondered if either of you.
I couldn't wait to grow up because I thought everybody would be nice then. Genuinely thought. Everyone would be nice.
Like you said, you'd have the adults.
You wanted to be. I was looking forward to the next, I'll be 12, they'll be 13.
I think I made a concerted effort with my kids to help them embrace childhood and say it's the next adventure and really keep childhood. Danny Baker taught me a lot about childhood magic. I remember when Kitty was about 3 and I said, she's talking about death and my nan dying and stuff. And he went, just tell them nobody ever dies. Tell them nobody ever dies. Tell my kids nobody ever dies. I won't die. Nobody dies. He said, that's how I got around that. So he said, I never had a conversation. He said, just rose-tinted glasses all the way through childhood. And I'm a sort of a bit of the opposite of that. But I've been very honest with my kids. But we do a lot of laughter and comedy and self-effacing comedy, which I think is really important for children. But I do also encourage Kitty to argue with me and her dad. Because I think I was brought up in an environment where it was like, what your parents says goes, and they were really lovely and loving parents, and they didn't really argue with each other or whatever. And I think I just went, okay, their marriage is perfect and their life is perfect, and I've got to live up to that. Whereas I think her seeing me go to my husband, no, that's not right, and then go, yeah, it is, and see that we can disagree but still have a nice life together, and that one of us is in charge, and that she can go, hang on a minute, that's really unfair. That didn't happen, and we can talk it out, and she's allowed to be cross and slam the door. And just like I can be cross, and so long as I come and say, I'm sorry, I'm in a really bad mood, she'll do the same thing. Sorry, I'm in a really bad mood. But you have to express yourself. If you keep it in, and I did a lot of keeping it in, I think we were, generationally, you were a good kid or a bad kid.
Yeah. And it's human, isn't it? And it's human to lose your temper, and it's very important that you let anger out to a certain level, and also, but then go and say, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was in a bad mood, or I was really overtired. That I remember when my kids were little, I used to teach acting classes on a Monday night, Tuesday night, and on a Wednesday morning I'd be good for nothing, and I'd often be quite snappy because I just couldn't process getting the kids ready for school, and I'd go, it's Wednesday morning, I'm sorry kids, I've got no bandwidth today, I might be snappy, I don't mean to be, it's not about you, I'm exhausted.
That's me every morning, Esther.
it's important to be that honest and raw and fallible. And sometimes my daughter will go to me, "Oh, are you disappointed?" I said, "Why do you care about what I think?
Yeah,
I'm winging it here."
Yeah.
You are already way more wise and capable than I ever was at your age. So listen.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll give my opinion, but then I'll go. But also, my opinion is really unimportant sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids will say to me, "Do you like this? Do you like that?" And particularly my son, and I'll say, "But do you like it?" Like, it doesn't really matter whether I like it or not. It's whether you like it. Make the decision based on what you like and not what you think other people will like.
And I warn them against the idea of perfection, because Beatrice, my daughter, to some extent Henry, but she would break down about art that she'd done and maybe a little mistake, and I really, really try and encourage her that things don't have to be perfect. That kind of goes back to what we're saying about women feeling like they can't apply for jobs or go for something because they haven't got absolutely everything completely right. It's like it doesn't have to be nothing. I always say nothing's perfect, and I always tell her that every single play I've ever done, there's probably been a mistake every single night.
And also, I really admire those people that are really successful. I really admire that kind of gung-ho, I'm just going for it, that fearlessness. It's sort of in our industry, that those are the type of people that become the big stars because
we learn as we go, don't we? We're not going to learn. I mean, it's that thing about you learn by failing. And if you never try anything that's out of your comfort zone, you're never going to...
And you just have to take this first step. You just have to take the first step, and then that leads to another step. And sometimes you change direction, that's fine.
And I think that this is what it is to be middle-aged as a female. One, the privilege of sort of getting here. And two, we have learned these lessons. That's why we're so sure about what we're doing, because we've learned them. We haven't just pretended to know them or bypassed them because we haven't needed to learn them because we've happened to have been so confident that we've done stuff. We've learned the lessons. We've done the time. We've done the course. Yeah. And so we feel confident in our knowledge, which is a great place to be.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating when that isn't recognised, I think.
Yes. And it's why we need women to support women and more women to be in positions where they can go for it.
Yeah, and also I think that it's never an attack. I mean, I'll talk about, to be a bloke. It's never an attack on the bloke. I think when I talk about it as in that a lot of men are saddled with that trope as well. And they're much more layered characters than they get a chance to present sometimes.
Yeah.
And but with nobody in life has time to change that framework. It will happen slowly. And this is what I love about the young people that are coming through. I think, like any pendulum swings, they get the butterfly thing and, what is it? When
what's the effect?
Snowflakes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes.
Snowflakes or woke. Or whatever,
but
the pendulum's going to swing like this, and they're going to find a good medium ground, and they really are trying to be empathetic, to go against the tropes, to grow and to evolve. And I think generally we have the fear as we're older, so we attack that because we're not that, and then our generation above us are attacking us because we're not, they've got their own fears and they don't understand it. But it is a natural evolution, and I really admire our youth. They've got a lot to put up with, and they're up against a lot, and I think they're really trying. And hopefully we have something to do with that. We play a part in that our generation has opened some doors and picked off the first part of a scab and the generation before us, my parents' generation, picked off the scab that was the generation that went through the war, and We think we need to be kinder to each other generationally and understand everyone's trying their best.
Well, it's boomers and it's Gen X and it's Gen Z
Pitted
and it's
against
men
each
and
other.
it's men and it's women and it's this race and it's that race and it's that religion, and it's like we're just all bloody humans. Like some people are dickheads and some people aren't, and let's just be nice to each other.
And it's fear. It's fear. As we all get older, it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of being outmoded. It's having learnt through a life that things go wrong and being frightened of not being able to heat your house, or being frightened of being left in an old people's home, or being frightened if you're a kid that you're never going to make it to that point.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the hospital with my father the other day, and I was always really sad that with the elderly in there that they need an advocate because they're quite confused, and you know, people in hospitals are so busy. But there was a chap who was saying something, you know, well, it's not for the faint-hearted getting old, and I sort of agreed. It's tough getting old, but I did say to him, but also if you're lucky enough to get there, to sort of remind him of the fear of the young. So everything we do is just out of this fear. And I suppose that's why we're actors, because we're trying to make sense of that fear, aren't we? We're trying to find a way to not be frightened, to solve the problems, to understand the problem, to alleviate the fear. And maybe that's why I'm interested in making a framework for bullies in school, to stop their fear, that maybe might then go on to alleviate it in some way, so that they then don't give birth to bullies, or that they can have a nicer life and feel less fear and more part of the world, and therefore there'll be somebody else. There has to be a framework somewhere, and I think teachers are frightened to say anything or do anything wrong. We're all frightened, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's something that we need to understand about each other before we take offence at somebody's fear. Because that's when we all start kicking off at each other. And I'm not saying that I'm not the first person to kick off unreasonably. I very much can be the first person. And then I have to take myself off in a menopausal rage and go, why'd you do that? You twat. You're not, you know. Think for 10 seconds. Practice what you preach. You know, we're all just as idiotic as each other, aren't we, really? We all got it right.
We're all idiots.
We all got it right until it happens to us.
Yes, completely. Yeah, we should finish, but I think we've covered so much. And I mean, I said to Esther, I know that when we talk to you, we'll just it'll sort of, I don't know, expand in ways that we don't expect.
We talk about loads of things.
We want to talk about real stuff, and it's so interesting hearing how you started, and just hearing your take on, you know, your point of view, and it's been an inspiring conversation, and that's
the comedy in this. The comedy in this is, of course, I can say all that. I can say all this, and then if this was an episode of a comedy, I'd come off this and I'd feel all good about myself and this sort of sage advice. And then I would be immediately screeching at one of the kids. And pulling my hair out in menopausal rage.
Yeah, and that's life. And what on earth is family for, if not to be, you know, to be the people that we shout at, so we don't shout at the rest of the world.
Sorry, I'm such a terrible mother. One of the two.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been really lovely to talk to you. And I think the bullying idea, definitely go ahead with that. That's brilliant. I think
I've got
what
to
a great
do that.
thing to create.
That can't be another thing that I drop.
Well, what we'll do is we'll clip it and we'll put it online that you said you were going to do it, and we'll hold you accountable.
We'll join in.
We'll
tag Tanya in it.
Any psychiatrists that want to get involved and be part of some sort of, I don't even know what it's called. It's group where we talk it all through and discuss, you know, founder members of something.
Working group. Research. Is that what they call them?
R&R.
R&D.
Research and development.
R&R's rest and recuperation.
Do it over cocktails.
You have been listening to Limited Time Only.
I loved speaking to Lucy. Obviously, I've chatted to her a lot in the Ambridge Green Room for the Archers, but never had a really in-depth proper full on chat like that, so it was lovely.
She's fascinating, isn't she? And she's such a deep thinker. And I was so interested by the fact that she is a real character actress and that is her sort of preferred leaning. And I was fascinated by that.
She's brilliant, because I think her character in The Archers, Stella, obviously The Archers it's very naturalistic in a way. And so she has brilliant ability to play that natural style. But then I'd love to see her in Cabaret or something.
Oh my god, yeah, when she said she'd like to be Sally Bowles.
Oh yeah,
she'd have been amazing.
And the whole young Julie Walters thing,
yes,
and the being called that and then actually being
yes, manifesting.
I love that.
I love the weird synchronicities of the world.
Yes, and exciting about making some real positive change with the bullying focus group or working group idea with psychiatrists. So if anyone's listening to this and that's sparked a little thought in your head, then please get in touch, and we'll get you in touch with Lucy, because I think it's a great idea that should spark into life.
Definitely. Yeah, she was fascinating. I didn't tell her that I walked past her in 1998 as well, when she was at the height of Natalie fame. I think I did Eastenders around that time. We walked past each other, and I wanted to go. No, we weren't in Walford. No, I no, just somewhere in London, and I felt quite excited. But
there you go.
There we go. She doesn't need to know that, does she?
She'll know it now.
She'll know it now. 1 million people will have walked past her at a point in their life.
They all felt that frisson of excitement. So in terms of leaving a legacy, what could be better than that?
She gave me a little frisson in 1998.
Oh, lovely. Well, next week it's brief time, and Lord knows what we're talking about. It'll be something.
Well, we've already recorded it.
Is it you or me?
It's me. We've done you at this point.
So we're talking about Esther. So if you're interested in Esther, then tune in. And if you're not, tune in anyway.
Yeah, just don't bother.
No, do bother.
Yes.
And thank you for listening to this. And we'll see you very soon.
We'll see you very soon. Limited time only. And pick me up in podcast form.
Follow us.
Follow us, or we'll follow you.
That's it. Pleading one week, threatening the next. I think we're keeping it real. Speak to you again next week.
Ta-ra a bit.
Ta-ra.
You ain't my mother.